Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hudhaifa Nawaz Bajo and I am from the Department of BS Chemistry and my ID is 007. So this is the course of SQL, Structured Query Language. So in this presentation I will introduce the SQL server, and let's have a look on the contents of my presentation, which includes 4 chapters. First one is the simple selection, how we select the data or retrieve data. Second chapter, aggregating data. It includes summing the data, counting minimum, maximum, and average value, and so on. In the third chapter, we will study about the joining tables, which include inner join, left join, right join, and at last we will create tables. So basically, uh, most of the world data lie in databases. So to abstract and access this data is an essential skill for a data scientist. So SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and it is a native language for working with databases. So moving towards the first topic, which is the simple selection or the select statement. Uh, the key term for retrieving data is select. It specifies what we want to retrieve from the table. The other keyword is required is from. It specifies the location of source table. So we can select a single column table using select, which retrieve that data from the column, and from statement retrieves specifies the location. And we can also select multiple columns by a column name separating with a comma. And this query shows two columns, selected country and event year, from the Eurovision table. So this is how we can select multiple columns from a table. Ordering and filtering. We can sort or order our data using the statement order by. So here is a query in which we will sort our data according to the event date. So first of all, we will select top 5 rows from the description table, from the description column, and event date from the table grid. So we will order or sort our data according to the event date, as we see in the query result. So we can use order by statement to sort our data according to our required or according to our needs. So we will next we will study about where clause. So when we only wanted to return rows that met our certain criteria, we use where clause below the from statement. In this query, we will select the description column and event year column from the grid table, and we want that description column is equals to vandalism. So we will use the where statement, which will filter our result according to the description, which is equals to vandalism. So in this way we can filter our data by using the where clause. And the second chapter is aggregating data. Summing. We can calculate the total amount of a column value with sum. Starts with select, then sum, and column name in the parentheses as shown here. We will use the sum function and the column name in the parentheses for which the sum is being done, and aliasing should be should be mandatory, because it will otherwise it will return with no column name. And second one is accounting. Simple as that of summing. A count query will return the number of rows of a particular column. We will simply replace the sum with count and aliasing the result as for the summing. We will have our total number of rows in the table. In this query, it is 806. Aggregating our data with minimum, maximum, and average values. So to return the minimum values from a column, we use a minimum function, min function with column name and again with aliasing. As shown here, we will use the select statement and then use minimum function and then we will select the column for the minimum function application and aliasing the result. Similarly, we can calculate the maximum value and average value for a particular column and for the whole table as well. Group by. By using the group by clause, we can split the data up into groups according to the data in the chosen column. So in this query, which is the grid table, we will uh, we will group by the data according to the NURC region as shown in the query result having clause. We can further filter the result by using having clause, which will return the data that meet the conditions according to the having clause. So if we want a particular type of data in our result, we will use the having clause. Here we will use having clause, which includes the sum function demand loss, which is greater than 10,000. So the Q result will resulted the demand loss column, which is having value greater than 10,000. So in this way, we can filter our result using the having clause. And the chapter three includes the joining of tables. Basically, SQL Server is a relational database management system. One of the key features of the relational database is the data stored in multiple tables. We will need to be join table together in order to extract the data we need. We use primary and foreign keys to join tables. So basically an inner join. The inner join keywords selects all rows from both tables as long as there is a match between the columns. So an inner join returns all the rows that are matched in both the columns. So in this query, we will select the track ID, aliasing as track name and title as album title from the track column. Then we will perform inner join album on track which and the foreign keys include album ID and the primary key is album ID. So in this way, we can join two tables using inner join with the on statement to return the data that matches in both the tables. So a left join. What about when you want to compare all the values in one table with another to see which rows match? Then we will use a left join. So a left join returns all rows in the first table and any matching rows in the right table. If there are not any matches in the right table for a particular row, then a null will return. This query quickly assess the gaps in your data and how many you have these gaps. So basically a left join returns the data from the returns the data that is present in left table and that does not match in the right table is prepared as null value. So in this query, we will left join the invoice on invoice line, and the query result are shown in the shown below. So a right join will return all rows from the right hand table plus any matches from the left hand side. Basically, a right join returns a data returns a data between two tables, uh, and only that data is returned which match towards the left table or the joining table. So left and right joins can be interchanged. So chapter 4, which is all about creator. So creating table, we can create tables using the keyword create table and then providing a table name as shown in the figure. Now, we will use the create table statement with column with the specifying the column name, which is track, and varchar 200, which specifies the data type and data size. So thank you. This is the my statement of accomplishment on completing the introduction to SQL Server. Thank you. That's all from my side.